It's Josh Shron at Israel Hour Radio, and I am so excited to speak to our next guest. He is a name that many in our community know very, very well because we all love him. But if you don't know the name Yann Selka, you should. He is one of the most talented and creative musicians and videographers and impressionists, and there is nothing that this guy can't do. His videos on YouTube are just pure joy. So excited to speak to him. Yann Selka, welcome to Israel Hour Radio and My Israeli Music Live.
Thank you very much, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to ask you, start off with an interesting question. Yann Selka isn't your typical Israeli name. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my family generally comes from Europe, like Luxembourg, Germany, the Netherlands, that kind of area. So the name is somewhere from there. We're not sure where exactly from, but yeah. So my family is like a family of musicians. My father plays clarinet in the Israel Philharmonic, and my mom's a piano teacher. And all kind of comes from there. Yeah.
How'd your just to get off a little bit? How'd your family make their way to Israel? You don't hear too many coming from that part of the world, I think, to Israel.
No, actually, you do. Actually, there was a lot of like, you know, with the Holocaust happening and all that, there was a lot of aliyah to Israel, and my family is just kind of one side of my family came from there. The other side was just my mother just met my father like in college, and then you know, they all came to Israel. So that's the story.
Very nice. Let's talk a little bit about your music. We just learned that you come from a very musical family. How many instruments do you play? And tell me about your musical journey to get to the amazing talent that you have today.
Wow, that's a very hard question. Like, generally, I would say, like, I kind of almost don't see myself like as an instrumentalist, but more like as a producer. So, like, most things that you'll give me, I'll play, except for like maybe some wind instruments. Yeah, I'll say that. I started out on the cello, and I was like classically trained for a few years. And then I moved to the guitar. And from there, you know, you start playing bass, you start playing maybe the drums. I started also playing keyboards. And a bunch of like other instruments that I play a very little, like the harmonica, stuff like that.
You talk about it like it's so normal to learn one instrument after another. Most people kind of just master one and stick with it, but you just kept on going.
Yeah, I do think so, but you will find that a lot of, like, for instance, a lot of drummers also play a little bit of bass, or of course, a lot of guitarists play bass, or some bassists play guitar. There's a lot of relation there between the instruments.
And what about all the other things you've learned, like, well, for example, video editing, which is a very, very creative that you do, unlike anything I've ever seen from other people. How'd you learn that? Well,
that's actually completely self-taught, and I'm very proud of that because, like, you know, there's some YouTube channels that teach the little details of stuff, but a lot of it I just figured out myself, and then some of these tutorials really helped me, which, yeah, I really enjoy doing that when I do get to do some video editing for my channel or other people. That's nice.
I'm guessing that growing up, you must have listened to a lot of different kinds of music.
Yeah, like, I think the most dominant force in my childhood musical life, I don't know how to call it, would be classical music, of course, like my parents being who they are. And then, you know, some sprinkles of like Johnny Mitchell or like Israeli music that's like Yoni Rechter. I'm guessing you are familiar with all the names I'm going to put here.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, stuff like Yoni Rechter, Mati Kaspi, and yeah, just generally that vibe. That was my bread and butter growing up. and a little bit maybe of bossa nova. But yeah, that's what I grew up on.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you do these covers, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, but in other musical styles and genres, I mean, you're everywhere. So you must have listened to a little bit of everything, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I was not always like that. I like started out like mostly listening to rock music, like, you know, when I was a teenager, and from there, just random little things piqued my interest, and you start going into all these rabbit holes. And even as recently as, like, you know, 1 year ago, there was a lot of music that I just didn't know existed, and I just was researching for my own channel. For like, for instance, I did a video, I don't know if you saw it, of Masa, which is a song by Eliad, where I went to a different country every time, and I did these kind of stereotypical music styles from every country. But it kind of just, researching for that just made me realize how much music there is in the world, because it's unfathomable. There's just so much, and completely, you would think it would have come from a different planet sometimes.
Well, it's brilliant, and I want to talk a little bit about your YouTube journey. From what I can tell, I was looking through your amazing YouTube channel, and anyone who hasn't taken the time to search through the repertoire of Yann Selka, you must do that. It's really amazing. But from what I can tell, you started out writing original music, trying to make it as a singer. You can let me know if I'm incorrect about that. But then you totally changed your act, and you started doing creative things. And you played the guitar blindfolded, and you were doing changing musical styles of popular songs. So tell us about this journey and what that transformation has been like for you.
Wow, actually, that's an interesting question. I don't get asked about that period like at all. That's,
well, we went way back, you know.
Yeah, that's some deep research. I appreciate that. All right, so yeah, I actually. The music that you mentioned is an album that I recorded when I was 17, which when I listen to it now, it kind of sounds like a demo to me. But it is what it is, and I still really like the songs that are on there. It's an album called Time of Change, for those who want to search it, maybe.
Sure.
And yeah, the thing is, after that, I got into the army. And I got into להקה צבאית, like the army band.
Right.
And there I became the arranger of the army band, as well as the guitar player. And I got a lot of experience just arranging songs that were written by other people. And I think a lot of that passion that I had from doing this in the army translated into what I would then do in my YouTube channel. I started off with, like, you know, some old stuff, some Beatles songs, Gidi Gov songs, all that kind of thing. And then I just did one pop song, which I liked, and it exploded. It was kind of nuts.
Which one was that?
It was Zotani by Eleli, which is a really great song. I think a lot of people who heard my cover thought that I was poking fun at it, and it was completely not the case. I love that song. It's so hype, so energetic, and yeah, it was just joy to cover that. And the cover went viral, and I just realized that, hey, there are a lot of people who might want to listen to this if it's more popular songs that I'm basing myself off.
Okay. I'll tell you, the first one that I saw and the way I found you, I don't remember how it ended up in my YouTube feed, was your cover of Hanan Ben Ari's Im Tirtzi in 17 different styles with 17 different singers and impressions. I've been blown away ever since. And you're doing impressions. You're covering work by other artists. Do you ever get a reaction from these artists? Do you ever hear from them?
Yeah, actually, when we did Im Tirtzi, I first of all want to mention that that video and many other videos on my channel was also featuring a singer named Osher Skortsau.
Yes.
Who is brilliant. She's like my YouTube work partner, and she's an amazing impressionist and an amazing singer all around. So that's just a joy. Every time we get to do one of these, we actually are doing one right now.
Yeah, you guys sound great together.
Thank you, man. So yeah, when we did that, we actually got a reaction from Hanan himself, which was just mind-blowing because we look up to him so much. He's just one of our favorite musicians of this generation. No question about it. And he just sent us like a voice memo, and it was so heartwarming. It just says, "What is this? This is so good." And this, he was so cute, and we actually got to meet him. We went to one of his shows, and we talked to him backstage. It was really fun.
He was just here in the U.S. We had a chance to interview him ourselves.
Yeah.
He's great, terrific guy.
Oh, that's cool. That's really nice. So,
yeah. And other artists, have they been in touch?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because after that same video, some other artists got in touch with us, such as Avraham Tal got in touch with us, and Eliad. They both like asked us to do their songs.
Wow. Oh, that's
which
amazing.
was incredible, and we did that. We did Bat 28 by Eliad and Shavua Tov by Avraham Tal. Both in these multiple styles kind of shenanigan videos. Right. And it was just, it was very, very hyped. It's very overwhelming when you get like, within a couple of days, all these guys were contacting us, and we were just like, and it's very hard to just keep yourself grounded and say, okay, I still got to do the job, but I still got to grind through the work and not like get... like, okay, I've done everything now, I can relax. So that's, but that was incredible.
That is great. That's so much fun. What does it take to put out one of these videos? You're playing instruments, you're producing songs, you're showing yourself in different places on the screen. There's so much going on. Tell me walk me through your creative process a little bit.
Ooh, all right. So we're talking about like the styles videos. Or
anything, whatever.
All right. So I'll say for like the normal covers where you said I'm appearing multiple times on the screen, like my jazz covers, these kind of things. Usually it will come out of nowhere. It's kind of like writing a song to me, because you have to find this idea that comes from nowhere, like an inspiration for a cover. Like, how would this song sound like this? It's something that for me is really coming out of thin air. And from there, I will just kind of probably jump on it and obsess over this idea until it's ready. So that's one type of workflow. The other thing is about the styles, which is completely different. Like, we'll pick a song that we think will probably sound good in a bunch of different styles, because it's kind of versatile, like Im Tirtzi, it could be anything. It could literally be anything. It's a very simple song. It's a really beautiful song as well, but it's very simple. And so we just start thinking like line by line, like who could possibly sing this lyric, or something like that. How would this music sound if it was by this artist? And the things that we like, we keep, and then we kind of, make everything. We produce every style, and then we sing on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And then we there's one thing which might not be obvious from the YouTube videos, which I'm giving you right now, which is we do the impressions separately, and then we film the video, because it would just be impossible to do live. This thing we actually did Im Tirtzi live at a show once, but it was incredibly difficult. So we try to to get our act together on each impression separately, or sometimes like 2 in a row max, and then we kind of film it all together, because that's just more fun to watch like that, I think. But I think that's like a lot of artists do that. They'll record the audio separately and then kind of do the video after the audio is all done. Am I correct about that? Yeah, that's a lot of times that happens, and a lot of times people think it's misleading. Oh, you're cheating or stuff. But I think that generally you would enjoy it more like this, because really every one of these singers that we're impersonating has such a different personality and a different way of thinking that they bring to the song, that you just really got to detach yourself from the previous singer very quickly and get into the zone of the other one, not just the voice, just going from this to this or something. You really got to just think like they think, and that's very hard to do when you're doing it live.
What about a song like Pouch? You decided to do that as a country song. You made a whole big video out of it. I mean, I don't know how you hear Pouch by Noah Kirel and decide to, oh yeah, that could be a country song. How does that happen?
Wow, I actually don't really remember. I think we were just like, we were thinking about this line where she goes, "Zeraka ni pouch v'achom shel Israel." It's just me and the pouch and Israel's heat. And we somehow formed like a connection between that and country music. And then we arranged the whole thing around it, sunshine, that kind of thing. I think that was the connection.
Okay.
Originally. But then we also kind of took it not just to a country song, but to a really, I want to say, cute country song, because the original is very hard hitting. It's very in your face.
Right.
And we tried to take it in the opposite direction. So I thought that was kind of fun.
It's so much fun. It really, really great. You mentioned performing live. Do you do lots of live performances?
Actually, not a lot. We do sometimes, me and Osher, we actually sometimes play in weddings.
Oh.
Because apparently people think that it would be fun if we just, brought a guitar and sang a bunch of these covers while people are walking around and eating stuff. But, but in terms of like live performances, we generally did like one public show.
Okay.
Maybe at some point in the future we'll come back. But really a lot of what I do personally is just work in the studio. It's like, I feel really at home here, not just in the figurative sense of like I'm at home, but like I really feel the most flexible when I'm here.
And from what I can tell, you do it all, right? You don't have anybody else working with you. I mean, aside from the voices, it seems like you do all the instruments, you do all the video. Is there anything else involved in your process?
In terms of YouTube, no, really, I do most of the things, except when I bring like guests on the show or something. Or like for the Masa video, I had a friend of mine shoot us and someone do the makeup and stuff like that. But generally the music and idea production, all that is on me. Yeah, so that's kind of a lot of work.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. And by the way, if anyone wants to get an idea of Yann's creative thinking, it's really on full display in what I think was your latest video, which was, I'm not even going to be able to describe this well, but you had people send you pictures and you wrote a song, created a song on the spot that accompanies that picture. And just watching the way you think and watching the way you would lay down one track after another, it was remarkable. So I highly suggest that everyone checks out that video. Even if you don't understand the Hebrew, just to watch the creative process and work is really, really remarkable. So I don't know what to ask you about it, but it was really, really amazing what you did.
Thank you very much.
Much fun. So much fun to watch you work.
That idea I actually had from like a lot of similar videos that I saw on English speaking YouTube.
Oh,
but I've never seen anything like this in Israel. So I wanted to kind of bring it along. But a lot of people were doing like, try to combine these genres, which are completely far apart, and just make them into one. Or that was one thing that inspired it. And the other was actually people were doing like contests of, you have 5 minutes to bring up a song that perfectly suits this picture, an existing song.
Okay.
And I thought that was really fun if we kind of combine the two and let people see the process of it. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that video. I think it got a little bit lower on the numbers. Like, people didn't watch it as much, which is natural because it's a very long video. But it was terrific. It was really fun to make.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, watching your work. Tell me about the numbers and the reaction that you've gotten from the public. What does success look like in terms of YouTube, and what are you shooting for? Actually, besides lots and lots and lots and lots of views.
Like, views are really cool, and I really do enjoy when like I get to share my art with people. Especially when I get to do something a little more original, like this last video. It's really heartwarming to receive, like, all these positive comments and people just enjoying this and finding maybe even inspiration in what I do. That's incredible. That's one side of it. The other, which may be surprising to you, is that it just brings me jobs. Oh. Honestly, like, people just hear some of the stuff I do, and sometimes they say, "Hey, Yann, do you want to produce my song?" And that's like that's, I would say, my main like source of work jobs. I phrased that terribly, but you understand what I mean. Like, do you work opportunities? That's okay. What I was.
Okay. Do you have is music your full-time job?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the upside of doing this, because otherwise there was no way I could have done that. I don't know if to say that, but maybe that's just given me an incredible opportunity to do this, which has been my dream. Yeah.
Well, we're very impressed, and just like I said, to watch you work is really a joy. And we've enjoyed your work so much. Tell me, where are you going now? What are your future goals, your future aspirations, and what do you have in store?
Wow, that's a huge question. I would say that generally where I'm headed with my music and my channel is originals. I have an album that is very soon coming out, which is almost ready by now, kind of basing off of my like musical roots, as I mentioned, like Israeli music, like Yoni Rechter and Mati Kaspi, and
singing in Hebrew.
Yeah, we're singing in Hebrew. Okay. We're in Hebrew territory, and after that, I'm kind of just planning on releasing whatever comes to mind. I want it to be completely chaotic, honestly, because I have a lot of different ideas. Like for some songs are like just kind of silly, stupid little songs, and some songs are like more, like more romantic ballads or whatever. Some pop songs that I've got in store. There's a lot of things, and I just want it to be complete chaos. That's my plan, honestly, for the future.
Yann, we love what you do, and it's such a joy to learn from you and to speak to you and to get a little bit of a peek behind the scenes. How is your English so good?
Oh man, I had a really good English teacher in high school. Her name is Daphne Alkabi. I don't think she'll be watching this, but yeah, she was just incredible. And actually I have a bit of a background in German, so that was also kind of like paving my way in there. My English isn't perfect. I haven't really brushed on it lately.
You're very good.
Maybe here
you're very good.
Thank you very much.
We've spoken to a lot of Israelis over the years, and you're very good.
Thanks a lot.
Well, I want to thank you so much, and I hope you will come back again, because it's just so interesting to speak to you and to get a glimpse into what you do. As I've said, we are thoroughly impressed, and we cannot wait to hear more. And any chance that you'll come to the U.S. to show off what you can do? Do you have aspirations to maybe bring your music to the United States?
At some point, I think, if everything goes according to plan,
All right. Well,
let's see about that. I'll be glad to be here again. It was really a pleasure.
We're happy to help in any way that we can. And thank you so much for joining us here on Israel Hour Radio.
Thank you very much. You have a terrific show.